Hey guys, good morning. So I had a dream, and the Lord wants me to share this dream with you. And I'm going to tell you the dream, and it has to deal with people in my life. And while there are things that resonate with me and my situation with the people that are in my dream, God wants me to share because there are many people that are going through this type of situation, even if it's just in the spirit and it hasn't manifested itself in the physical. God is drawing attention to these things and He is doing something about it. But this is something else that I feel like the Lord is saying. There's a lot of things happening with our children right now. There is a spirit of manipulation, and there's some divisions between parents and their kids, and you and other family members, okay, that are in particular attacking you, where it is just like a continual thing. Sometimes there's quietness, sometimes it seems like there's peace, but these people keep coming back around, and it's just like spiritual harassment. There's things going on that, I keep saying that God is dealing with. He's bringing things to the surface, and He's dealing with these things. He's dealing with these people. But here's a part of what the Lord is saying. Right now, there are these divisions because some of these people are meant to be cut off and out of your life. So if it's that, God is going to direct you, and He is going to confirm these people need to be cut off. These people you need to leave behind. It's time to say goodbye. So you need to face these people so that you can move on. You need to face these things so that you can move on, because God is redirecting your life. He is repositioning you. He's calling you out in a way into something different. And so God wants you to deal with this so that you won't be looking back, okay? But there are other things going on right now with certain family members, friends, people, in your circle, that these things are happening. And most likely it's like a family connection or whatever. And that's what I'm really kind of God's really pointing at, highlighting right now, these family connections. And the reason why some of these divisions are happening, okay, we all know what the word says, that a kingdom divided cannot and will not stand. Okay, so the enemy is bringing these divisions because imagine your family is like a little miniature kingdom. It is the father, the king, the mother, the queen, and you have divine order and everything that God has designed for each family. There's order. Everyone has a role. You get the picture. So the enemy wants to bring division to these little kingdoms so that they can be conquered. And it starts with husband and wife a lot, starts with mom and dad a lot, because they're kind of the foundation of the family. And someday the children will break away. They'll go their own way and start their own kingdom. And then that's gonna, it's supposed to, in God's plan, come together and make a bigger kingdom. God wants to grow His kingdom, but the enemy wants to strip the kingdom. He wants to crush the kingdom. And so that's what some of these divisions are, his attempt at crushing and bringing that division so that the kingdom will fall. Okay, now moving on to the dream. Okay, so in my dream, I'm dealing with my son. Okay, I'm preparing a meal, and I was called into a situation to come and help. So I'm preparing a meal, and I'm going to have a conversation with my son in the dream. I'm seeing what's going on or whatever, because I'm called in to help. And in the dream, he's not with me. He's at his father's house, and I just know what I have to do. So I'm there, I'm preparing a meal, and my plan is I'm going to set him down when we have this meal. And I know my son anyway, he will talk once he's well fed and he is happy. And it's something I used to do with them in real life when they were children. I would always talk to them at night, because kids open up the most at night. Whenever you are going through communication issues with your children, stay up with them late at night. Allow them to stay up and play with them, do a little bit with them, and then lay with them in their bed at night and listen. They will talk to you. Anyway, so in my dream, I'm preparing a meal and I go outside. I'm looking out for my son. He's with a few of these boys, and I see my son off in the distance. I see that he is smoking. So I go right away. I'm going to confront him. I'm going to address that issue immediately. But he sees me as I get close to him, and he hides the cigarette in his mouth. And I immediately tell him to open his mouth to show me that in fact there was no cigarette, because he tells me that he wasn't smoking. But that, and of course when he opens his mouth, I see the cigarette butt in there. Okay, so for me, I know what the Lord is showing me. I know what the Lord is telling me, but I'm going to give you some of the meanings behind these symbols in the dream. Okay, so the boys out there, they represent familiar spirits and people that are around my son that he may know in waking life. Okay, and these boys obviously have some type of influence. Okay, this might not be your son, it might not be your child, it could be someone else, but you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll know what it's related to. Okay, so that represents the familiar spirits, the influence. The cigarette has a couple different representations for some different people. So I'm going to go over a couple of those things with you. Okay, so a cigarette is usually offered to a boy, sometimes a girl, when they're at a certain age, and it's kind of like a rite of passage thing, like a lot of young boys did, especially in my generation and before, and so there is something that is happening in spirit where there is some growth. There is something that has to be done, sort of like a rite of passage thing that is expected, desired, wanted, whatever. So that cigarette could represent that. And with that, there's always some type of a test of character, and that relates again to those boys. Okay, there's a certain temptation or something that they're facing, that they're dealing with. The other thing is that we know the cigarette represents poor health. It has something to do with something that is unhealthy. Okay, the smoke, if there's smoke, then that signifies warning, alertness. Okay, and the cigarette does represent a few other things, but my time is almost up. And so when I saw my son from a distance, that is saying that in spirit, I was alerted of something, I was aware of it, and I went to confront it right away in spirit. I saw it coming. Before it happened, I saw it coming. So some of you are seeing things or sensing things in the spirit that you haven't quite put it together, but you kind of have a sense. And when God confirms or shows you something, you're going to be like, I knew it. I knew it. So you are to follow those leadings. Now, I went to my son to confront it, and God will tell you when, but you will have something that you will need to confront. Now, the cigarette also represents secrets. Okay, secrets, shame, things like that. There's something going on. And when my son in the dream put it in his mouth, he was trying to hide the secret, but he was out in the open. He was out there with these people. And so whatever the secret is, it is out there. People know about it, but he's trying to hide it for a reason. There is a reason behind it. And the secret was being compressed. The cigarette he hid under the tongue. So there's something he wants to say, something that he is afraid to express, something that he is dealing with. And this could be many different things, okay? But the Lord is going to bring it out. He's telling you to go in there and get it out, draw it out. But he will show you how, he will show you when, he will show you where. Right now, he's just bringing everything out in the open, and you already have a sense that this is there. So be in prayer over that, okay? I might have to do another video on this. Stay tuned, and I'll